Okay, let's talk about it. Buying your first home, it's got to be one of the biggest, most stressful decisions you'll ever make, right? It can feel like you're staring up at this giant mountain. But here's the thing, with the right game plan, that summit is totally within reach.
So, is this the year? Is 2026 the year you finally get those keys? Look, if you're dreaming about owning your own place, but the whole process just feels completely overwhelming, maybe even impossible, trust me, you are not alone. It's a super common feeling, but a little bit of clarity, man, it can make all the difference.
You've got the dream on one side, right? Building your own equity instead of your landlord's, having a place that's actually yours. But then, bam, you hit the reality. The down payment looks like a phone number, you're drowning in a sea of jargon and hidden costs, and the uncertainty is just overwhelming. That gap between the dream and the reality can feel like a canyon. But today, we're going to build a bridge right over it.
All right, here's how we're going to do it. We've broken this whole thing down into 5 simple sections. We're going to look at the dilemma for first-time buyers, get real about the obstacles, give you an actual playbook, decode what you'll really pay each month, and then tackle that big question. Is now the time to buy, or should you wait?
Okay, Section 1, the first home dilemma. Let's start by getting a handle on the 2026 market landscape. You gotta know the playing field before you can win the game, right?
So here's the thing. There's some good news. Believe it or not, mortgage rates are down, and there are actually more houses on the market. But, and this is a big but, affordability is still the #1 hurdle for first-time buyers. It's this weird contradiction, you know? Things are technically better for buyers, but it sure doesn't always feel that way because the price tags are still so high. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty. Section 2 is all about overcoming the real obstacles. To win this thing, you first have to know exactly what you're up against. We're talking about the 5 key hurdles every single first-time buyer faces. And hurdle number 1, no surprise here, is the down payment. Look at that number, $70,000. That's a potential 20% down on a pretty typical starter home. Yeah, most first-timers put down less, but that big 20% number, it just feels like this giant, impossible wall of cash you have to climb over.
And what makes climbing that wall even harder? This guy, high-interest debt. The average interest rate on credit cards is a whopping 24%. That means your debt isn't just sitting there, it is actively fighting against you, literally eating up your savings goal month after month after month.
Okay, so let's say you conquer the debt and you save the money, you're still not out of the woods. The U.S. market is short about 1.5 million homes. It's a basic supply and demand problem. Not enough houses keeps prices high and makes finding the right home at the right price a serious challenge.
And then there are the hurdles that are, in your head. With all the economic uncertainty out there, signing up for a 30-year commitment can feel, well, pretty risky. Plus, look at this. The average age of a first-time buyer has climbed all the way to 40. That just shows you how tough it's gotten, and it adds this whole other layer of pressure.
Okay, enough with the doom and gloom. Now for the good stuff. Section 3 is your home buying playbook because for every single one of those challenges, there is a strategy. Let's talk about how you can turn these obstacles into opportunities.
Here it is, 6 concrete steps to success. First, boost that credit score. Just a 20-point jump can save you thousands. Second, look into assistance programs. FHA, VA, USDA loans, these can get you in with as little as 0% down. Seriously. Third, think about new construction. A huge percentage of builders are offering awesome incentives, like rate buydowns. Then, you got to get pre-approved. It shows you're a serious player. Target a starter home to get in the game and start building equity. And finally, with more houses out there, you can and should negotiate aggressively. This is your playbook to get in the driver's seat.
All right, let's move on. Let's say you follow the playbook and you get the house. Now what? Section 4 is all about decoding your monthly payment, because it's crucial to understand what you are really paying for each month. It's not just one big number.
You're going to hear this acronym a lot. PITT. PITT. It stands for Principal, Interest, Taxes, and Insurance. Those are the 4 core pieces of almost every single mortgage payment. Think of it as the foundation of your monthly housing cost.
Now, what happens if your down payment is less than 20%? Well, you'll probably have to pay something called PMI, or Private Mortgage Insurance. And let's be super clear about this. This is an extra fee that protects the lender, not you. But, don't think of it as just a penalty. It can actually be the key that unlocks the door to home ownership way sooner. And one more thing to watch out for: HOA fees. If you're looking at a condo or a house in a planned community, you'll have this separate mandatory monthly fee. It just covers the maintenance for things like a community pool or landscaping. The US average is around $191 a month.
And here's how it all comes together. This table breaks it down perfectly. You've got your main loan payment, that's the principal and interest. Then you tack on your property taxes and your homeowner's insurance. That right there, that's your PITI total. But you're not done. If you have them, you add in PMI or those HOA fees, and that gives you your real all-in monthly payment.
Which brings us to the big one, the final, critical question. Section 5. To buy or to wait? Given everything we've just talked about, what's the right move for you in 2026? Let's look at the facts.
Check this out. This is a huge factor working in your favor right now. For the first time in what feels like forever, average wage growth is actually outpacing home price growth. Your paycheck is growing faster than the price of a house. What does that mean? It means your purchasing power is getting stronger every day.
So let's lay it all out. The risks of waiting? Well, rates could definitely rise again. And every single rent check you write is just gone. You're building zero equity. But the advantages of buying now? You lock in a rate that's still pretty good, historically speaking. Every payment you make builds your own wealth, and you can take advantage of the leverage buyers have in this market. It's a pretty clear picture.
You know, this quote really nails it. The question isn't whether you can afford to buy, it's whether you can afford to wait. Wow, that just completely reframes the whole conversation, doesn't it? It's not just about what it costs today, it's about what you lose by waiting.
So, are you ready? With a clear plan in your hands and a real understanding of the risks and the rewards, are you ready to make your move? Because once you turn all that confusion and anxiety into an actual plan, that path to your first home, well, it might be a whole lot closer than you think.